some of you are louder about losing TikTok than you are about losing civil rights.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast streaming live on our YouTube channel for all of our Patreon supporters, live and in color, the day of the actual live stream.
And welcome color's not a bad thing, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's not. Welcome back to the show. My name is Tom. I'm your host, and as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing co-host, starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trish.
And
J-Bear, a.k.a. your boyfriend's boyfriend.
And welcome you back to the show. So there is a lot of things going on, a lot of craziness, a lot of pettiness, a lot of, I don't know.
Tomfoolery?
Yeah, tomfoolery. Oh, I've been on a freaking roll all day today. I'll explain a little bit more later.
Yeah.
But before we get into all the good stuff, just a quick roundtable, because last week we just skipped right over that and went straight into, into all the debauchery.
Into the madness?
Into the madness. But, yeah, so, Trish, we'll start with you. How are you, darling?
I'm good.
You're
as good as I can be.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that's going to be the de facto response from many humans in the world of of people living in the U.S. during this entire presidency. It's like, I'm good.
Yeah, especially people on our side. But I actually, so I had a really great lunch today with one of our good friends, Mr. Liddy. And we were talking, we just kind of like had a check-in almost, but took like a 45 minutes to talk through it all. And we were talking about, the State of the Union and how we were all feeling and like how people are reacting to everything. And basically like, it's like this like exhaustion, right? Because not only do we have to maintain, being human and being our person and doing our job every day, but then we're constantly waiting for the next bomb to drop, right? Or the next thing to happen. And on top of that, I got a lot of stuff going on this week. There's a lot of anniversaries in my life that aren't the best ones. And basically he said to me, we have to find a way to still have hope, and we have to find a way as individuals that can see through the bullshit. to see one another and see when we need to help fill their cup.
Fill whose cup?
Like when your cup...
Put that in context.
Like, so when you're running on empty.
Right.
And I've got a little extra, I'm going to help fill your cup.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that couple, that therapist that was like, she goes home to her husband and they've got a family and got all that stuff. And, depending on what's going on in the day, they both will connect and say,
I'm at 10.
I'm at 10. Yeah. Okay.
So
I'll be the 90.
I need to be 90. Yeah.
I can be your 90 tonight. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
It's just checking in and being honest with one another.
Which is an interesting concept, by the way. I just want to point this out, because what happens when you're both at 10 and you're just like, what do you do now?
You got to compromise. You got to figure it out.
That's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people right now are probably all going to be at 10s, right? And
yeah.
So being able to have healthy conversations with one another and be honest about what's going on in the world, and honestly be honest about what you're personally struggling with. And I was very open about that there are a lot of people that I'm close with in my life that are in my personal circle, right? That not only...
and not by choice. I mean...
Some by choice.
Some, but the majority of the people that you find yourself at odds with are people that,
Yeah, and
you're born into that.
I think it's like, it's not even about being at odds with. It boggles my mind. You tell me you love me.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me you love me, but then in the same breath, you are spewing rhetoric and believing it. Like, crazy shit.
Right.
Like the whole DEI thing with the plane and all that. And the fact that you think that, DEI doesn't need to exist. Like, it's just going through day to day and processing that on top of processing your personal life. It's just a lot.
Right.
And I shared this video with you guys earlier about this dad who has a gay son.
You did.
And it was just really impactful to me because he is free hug dad. What is it?
Free mom hugs.
Free dad hugs.
So they have a free dad hugs now.
So he does. Yeah. And he goes.
I didn't know this.
He's a huge ally. He goes to all these events, and it's not even like when his son is at the events, but he wears a rainbow bracelet all the time in support of his son. And he went to a store, and at the store, somebody came up to him and he said, and this is a guy that I follow, and a little bit more context, he's a big, burly guy. He looks like somebody that, like,
he looks like somebody would jump on a Harley and just go down the road and just
And he
looks like Jay.
And so somebody in the store in a store, he looks like Jay. Actually, yeah. But he came up to him in the store, and this guy said to him, he's like, "Why are you wearing that rainbow bracelet?" And he's like, "Well, I have a gay 20-year-old son, and I love him, and I support him, and I support the entire community. I love the entire community." And his response to him was, we overturned Roe versus Wade. We're going to be the next thing we're doing is overturning marriage equality. And the reason it struck me so much really is because we know it's under attack. And like, there's going to be a moment where all these people in my life that love me or say they love me,
right,
I'll be able to look at them and be like, okay. And
it's not an easy thing to how would I say, process, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because you have to balance the need to know that, for example, those that people that you consider close in your life, people that you love, that you assume love you and love all of you, then you have to turn around and also reconcile the fact that some of the things that they're supporting also impact you, or may impact someone that you know personally, that you love personally, that you support personally, or that affects someone in our community, right? And the beauty of our community is that it has there's a myriad of different types of people that exist within the umbrella that is the LGBTQ plus community, right? And so it's hard to come to terms with that.
Yeah, and like, I know that we're supposed to be doing a round table, but I think this is a round table.
Yeah, of course.
It's but I saw another interview, and I think this is a couple weeks old, but an interview, and I can't remember the people's names. It was either a senator or a congressman, and a famous anchor, but I'm blanking. But he was talking to this guy, and he was this guy is like a huge supporter of banning trans and or drag shows for kids, like like library drag shows or brunches and stuff like that for like kids, because it's dangerous for them.
Wait, wasn't this whatchamacallit? Oh God, something Stewart?
Stewart,
yeah, and then he went in on like guns, and it's like the number one killer of children are guns. If you're so concerned
in
about
this
guns,
country, but you won't do shit about that,
right?
But you're gonna go after the trans community. It's a smoke show. It's a fucking smoke show.
It is.
And I'm just like, whatever. Anyway, other than that, things are going just as you would think they're going.
Yeah, it's for me, I'm taking things one day at a time, right? Because we talked about a little bit about this in a couple of episodes back, where we were talking about the innate and the need for this administration to throw so many things at you so fast all at once. It's like, so that you can't really focus on one, and it has the media sort of kind of going in a tizzy, because the media can only they want one story and they want to run with that, for hours and hours and hours and days and days and days. And they can't do that in this administration because there's so much being thrown at us all at once that it doesn't really give us an opportunity to digest one thing before the next thing is already all over social media and all over.
What's scary about that is another thing that I was enlightened about at lunch today, which I probably would have in the grand scheme. But what I think is more scary about the dismantling of some of these programs,
right?
Some of these programs that are USAID, potentially Medicare, the Department of Education. It's like, okay, at the same time, you're going to dismantle these programs because you want to reform them. What scares me, and after hearing this today, really kind of like blew my mind a bit. I was like, but you can't just take these things away.
Right.
People are going to suffer extremely. The country will. So how is he going to rebuild it? And who is that going to benefit? what is, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like some of these programs will have to be rebuilt,
right?
But they will be rebuilt in from the perspective of this unhinged man who only cares about white people
and the people that support him, right? And interesting that you say that because this is not a new playbook. Hitler did.
Well, I wouldn't say the people that support him because if you've been watching social media recently, a lot of his quote unquote supporters
traitor
are finally,
realizing,
fuck around and find out FAFO is happening nationwide.
Yeah, there was this one woman that was crying because they were going to take her snaps away.
Her snaps away. There's the couple that posted recently on their social media. The wife lost her job because of the DEI hire. She was a nurse, I believe.
Yep.
And she lost her job because the DEI initiative was terminated at her place of employment. What a lot of people don't realize that DEI benefits a lot of white women. A lot of white women.
The majority of the people that benefit are white
women.
Well,
and they were the majority of the supporters that are now seeing the after effects, and it's
right.
It's they feel like they were lied to. He never lied. He said it from the get go.
Yeah,
that's what baffles the fuck out of my mind.
Well,
he's been saying it from the get go. This is what I'm going to do, and they assumed that was only going to affect people of color.
And gay people.
And gay people.
Or the LGBTQ community.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Honey, we've been here before.
Yeah.
We know.
We can persevere.
We can pivot and do what we need to do.
Yeah.
Another really good point that I took away from lunch today about this whole DEI stuff is if you're a constitutionalist, if you look at the Constitution, yeah, it was written by a bunch of white men. There have been a lot of
in wigs. I must add.
Yeah,
fabulous wigs
and kind of and chunky heels. But if you really take a look at the Constitution and think about what DEI really does, the Constitution was built for it. We built it to morph and be able to support people, including the amendments that have been, reformed or implemented, right? If you really look into, what America was built on, supporting everyone, not just your constituents.
Right. It's in our preamble. It's we the people, right? And interestingly enough that you say that, it's so I heard someone once describe our Constitution as a living document, right? It's a document that, given what the nation is going through at the time and the trends and, whatever it is that we're facing at that time, that it allows for the people to make changes to accommodate, certain situations and things like that. So it's a living document. And I never thought of something that is written to be considered living. But if you really think about that perspective, it sort of kind of makes sense, right? It's because the document in itself evolves over time. And so getting back to what I was saying is, like, with all this craziness happening, I find myself taking it one day at a time. I have to be able to slow my roll, look at all the shit, all the smoke that's around me, and focus on one and say, okay, I'm going to tackle this today. Right. And then, you know, all the other unseen things, all the other things that are happening that you have no control over, you know, ailing parents. You know, my nieces and my nephews lost their grandmother yesterday.
Yeah.
She unfortunately passed away after some time of being ill. And so, you know, I reached out to them and to ask them, how are you? And had conversations with them, you know, in light of some of the personal things that are happening in my life with my own mother and, you know, and family members on this side of the family. So, you know, it is, you just never know what life is going to throw at you. And you have to just, when things like that stop, you pause.
Mm-hmm.
Pause.
But that's exactly what I was saying, right? It's like you've got your work life, you've got your personal life, and then you've got a dumpster fire that we're watching happen around the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, and you think about all of the promises that were made on the campaign trail. Like, I broke an egg this morning making an omelet. My insurance company is sending an adjuster this week.
Oh my God, I bought a chicken.
Oh my God.
So, you know, I stole that from somebody on Facebook. No, but it's crazy. So, you know, the average cost of eggs now is close to, at this point, like between $3, $4, and $5 more than it was before January. Inflation has actually gone up 2.5 points in the entire month of January.
It's going to go higher, though. They just
Much winning. So much winning. And I'm not even like...
so much winning.
I'm not even going to like, you know, even talk about, you know, people's investments in 401ks and God knows what not. And the roller coaster ride that is going to be. It's scary. And, you know, when you're someone like myself, I'm worried about, you know, my mother, my siblings, my nephews, my nieces, my financial stability, my ability to, you know, as a single man, afford my home, right? And work and do all of that.
Household income, yeah.
And navigate all these things. It's like, you know, I'm not poor, but I'm not rich either, right? And so I have to think about, you know, how all of these changes that this administration is proposing affects me and my financial stability. And it's scary. And it's scaring me because I don't know. It's uncertain to me right now, you know? And, you know, and that said, it's just, that's where I am.
Yeah. To lighten it up,
week.
and before I toss it over to Jay, earlier this week, I sent a message to our group chat.
You did.
Yeah, and I said, it
One
was
of a thousand.
meme. It was a meme, and it said, "Spoil her with something expensive this Valentine's Day," and it was a dozen eggs.
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Oh my God!" And then Chris goes, "Paid over $5 at Aldi." Jay, $17 for 36 eggs. $17 for 36 eggs at Walmart. 30 pack for $8 at Costco. Of course, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then I said, I bought a chicken. She will be laying my eggs from here on out.
And then she literally says to me in a different sentence, like, Tom, I can't keep the chicken in my house or in my apartment, but we're going to need space in your backyard. And listen, I want to throw it out there. I'm game for creating a chicken.
Speaking of chickens.
A chicken, what do you call that?
Hen hoop.
A chicken coop. And all of us chipping in and buying little chickens, and then we all do the feed and stuff. I'll give everybody eggs. Let's do it. I'm game. I have 0.5 acres in the back of this house.
Down the street, they sell the chickens.
Yeah, they sure do.
Like, that's something I would actually consider helping you build.
Yeah, no, I will totally give you eggs, honey. We'll go collect like empty cartons and.
Well, if we do it like toward the end of this month in March, then we can actually start like.
Well, let me tell you.
She's really wait.
She's considering.
You are really like 100% like
eggs are
into this.
expensive.
Yeah, no, I'm into it.
So
we don't have to get. We can start small. We get a couple chicks.
Okay, but
I'll make a phone call.
But if we're gonna do this,
maybe a couple quails.
I'm getting you on camera. You can't show up here in flip flops and be like, I can't help you clean the chicken coop.
Colin cleans the chicken coop in flip flops all the time. Okay, it'll be fine.
They're actually quails.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
What, the quails? Who what?
Quail boy.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Quail Daddy.
No.
Quail
But
Daddy.
we'll have to get some like crazy chickens. I want to name one like Henrietta and
yeah.
like have different
Henrietta. Or
That was-
Gina.
like Gina,
Spanish for gallina.
Gina,
Gina.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Or we'll call her Gina.
Gina.
I'm just gonna name one Huevo.
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 How's my huevo today? No, I wasn't talking about you, honey. What you got under you? Oh my God, no! It's pretty crazy.
Hey, you're gonna have to do something. We gotta do something drastic. It's getting crazy.
Yeah.
It's getting crazy. I think the cheapest I've seen eggs was today. I went to Aldi's. It was,
Right.
and it was just under $6 for a dozen, and they limit 2 per person.
Oh no, Trader Joe's
does-
is doing it too because they
yeah.
were hoarding.
Yeah,
and actually,
no,
I noticed that Walmart they have this. They're selling a box of 60 eggs for $27.
it's insane.
27.
$27.
It's crazy.
Joder.
for 60 eggs.
It's crazy.
I'm
No, so you remember when he started this whole trade war with this whole issue with Colombia and all.
Colombia,
I
China,
immediately
and
said I'm gonna go
Canada,
get
and-
myself like a couple of cases of coffee. So I went to Costco and I picked up like 4 cases of the coffee pods that I drink, and on average I would spend about $37 or between 37 and 40 a case. I went to Costco to go pick up eggs and toilet paper and all that other stuff that you go. And the box of coffee was already at $49.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
I was like, holy shit. It's insane. And, it is what it is. But Jay Bird, aside from all of our craziness and all of the issues with our huevos, how are you?
Just getting over a nasty cold.
Yeah.
You can kind of, I sound kind of manly, don't I?
You do. It's
little
like
butch.
you dropped like 2 octaves.
2 octaves.
Oh bitch, you always sound manly.
Tris
But
is
yeah,
just jealous.
just getting over it. The missus, I can tell you last week, she had been in the hospital for almost a week. She ended up with a pneumonia. It's just this weather's fucking kicking everybody's ass.
That's crazy.
And oh, by the way, happy birthday to the missus.
Happy birthday, Miss Rosa.
It's her birthday.
Yay.
She turns
You white motherfuckers. Feliz cumpleaños.
Feliz cumple.
Oh,
She-
she's so
yeah.
Puerto Rican all of a sudden.
Yeah, she's a New Yorican, so it's
Be careful.
So
Don't
it's-
get too
yeah,
Puerto Rican. You
so
might get
it's-
deported.
yeah.
I know.
Be careful.
Feliz
like-
cumple. Well, she can use a free
Tell me
vacay.
who you walk with. I will tell you who you are.
Yeah, those are old Puerto Rican sayings, girl.
That's right.
Dirme con quién andas,
Y te diré quién eres.
Puta.
puta.
Exactly.
Okay, she knows where she stands.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, happy birthday to the missus
Yeah.
today. So yeah, I get killed in the holidays. Birthday today, Valentine's in 2 days, Christmas. I have 3 birthdays the week prior to Christmas. It's like
See,
I get
if I have anyone that has a birthday like 3 weeks to Christmas, you're getting a Christmas present. Or a birthday present, but you're not getting a Christmas present. But you're not
Yeah.
going to do both.
Yeah, no, my daughter.
Because she's not rich.
My 2 oldest are a week before Christmas, and my mom. So it's like
Yeah, you
there's
get
no
one.
getting around it.
You know what's crazy to me about so my niece's birthday is this weekend, and she turned in 3, and she
3 already.
I know.
Yeah, I still can't. He says that every time he says this, I'm like, nah.
And I
Well, I was kind of baffled when you said there was another one.
Another 2.
Another 2 now.
In 3 years, I'm gonna have 5 new freaking nieces and nephews.
And your sister had the baby, right? Because you told me she was pregnant. Then all of a sudden the baby's born, and
Yep.
I thought it was like a month
she
later.
Just turned
and-
1.
She just turned 1.
See, then what the fuck? I'm
and
thinking
then
the
your
baby's a
brother's
few-
pregnant with
Twins.
twins.
They're due next month.
So this is gonna
Oh
be
my
their
God.
their second set of babies.
So my brother has
Your niece,
and then 2 on the way.
and 2 on the way.
3 girls.
This is Demi's.
Demi's 3rd birthday.
Okay.
But so I'm texting him, and I was like, she has everything. Like when I was a kid, we were like my parents took very good care of us. We had everything we needed. We had toys. We had everything. But I mean, this girl's got everything. I'm like, what do I buy her? You want more clutter in the house?
Why don't you just, get her social from her parents?
Oh, I was gonna put money in her college account, but
Yeah,
But then
and
my brother was like, no, just get her these little cheap figurines. I was like, okay, fine, but like it's just like
Baby's her age. What is she into? What does she watch?
Blues
my God.
Clues.
No, they don't do that anymore.
She
I don't
that's
think
not a
that
thing.
even exclude that. I don't think that exists anymore.
The Blues Clues
No.
with the cars? Yes, they
no,
do.
no.
Isn't it?
Oh, they moved on?
Bluey.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Bluey.
Bluey's the new guy.
Yeah, Bluey. But
Oh.
no, she likes Lion King.
I don't have kids. I don't care.
and Disney movies.
Okay,
But-
there you go.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you got to look at that.
Yeah, she's got this. They've got so much shit.
That she doesn't do Blippy.
No, Blippy too.
See that like a plush,
Yep.
maybe a Blippy plush or a.
Paw Patrol, that's the one I was talking
Oh
about.
Yeah,
my
no, that's
God.
still a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Not Blues Clues, Paw Patrol. See, that's what I was.
There's a lot of dogs.
So my neighbor, his kids are all into Paw Patrol, and they had a birthday, and I was invited. So I was like, "What do I get them?
yeah,
Like, what do I get it? I just don't
the
know."
child.
So I was like, "Oh, they're into astrology and Paw Patrol." So I went to Barnes and Noble.
Astrology.
Like he likes like planets, and he's all about planets.
Astronomy.
Thank you. Well, astrology and astronomy go
Well,
hand
yeah,
in
but
hand.
what is a
Constellations,
4-year-old
there's
gonna do with tarot cards?
You'd be surprised.
Dude,
So I went to Barnes and Noble, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a cute book."
you better be careful, actually.
So I went to Barnes and Noble, and I pick up this book on planets, right? And I'm like, "Oh, this would be cute." It's very pictorial. It's got a lot of pictures. It's very good. It's very visual, and I think this would be very interesting for a 5-year-old, right? So I go to the counter, put the book down, beep, $50
Trump.
for a book.
Mm.
For a book?
Yeah.
I buy a lot of books. They're not cheap.
For a hardcover, $50? I was like,
Yeah.
fine. And then you got to go get them the little Paw Patrol thing. So I got a little figurines, and then he wanted ices, popsicle ices or something. Anyway, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, shit ain't cheap. Trust me.
It is not. That's why I don't have kids. I'm too selfish for kids.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so we had one, then we had two.
Yeah.
Now, in the course of a year, between March and I think Amanda's due sometime in the summer, there can be 3 more.
Right, because you're going to have the twins that are born next month, and then you have Amanda coming. Oh, my God. So that's 5, and they're all under the age of 3,
Yeah,
except for Demi. Well, they're all going to be under the age of 4. That's insane.
I'll get to know them in 4 years.
See, when my nieces and nephews were small,
That's
when they were
kind of
young,
cute though. They're all within the same age range, so
Yeah, it'll be nice.
it'll be nice so they can kind of.
Yeah, I mean, we were really close with our cousins growing up too, so
Yeah.
like it'd be nice.
Yeah,
But geez, oof,
Mm-hmm.
that's,
yeah. No,
That's kind of like what happened to me. I became a grandfather like back to back. First 3 grandkids were all just about a few months apart from each other. So
I was like, for like the baby shower, I just got the couple's cards, and I was just like, snip yourself.
snip yourself.
well.
Congratulations! I
Snip
hope this is your
yourself.
last one.
I was like,
Stop
here's
saying it was an
diapers.
accident.
Yeah.
It wasn't an accident. Snip it.
I mean, I was going to title the episode "Everything is Going to Poop" because we're going to be talking about a lot of that, but it looks like literally everything in your family is just going to be about poop for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, broken condoms and poop.
Diaper galore. Oh my
Oh my
God.
I swear to God.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a great first half. We're going to take a break, and when we
Already?
come back, we will have the dish. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gents, welcome back. Thank you so much for allowing us to. We had to hit record
Rinse and repeat. And
and do all the good stuff. Get refreshed, get our shots, and all that stuff. All right, so we're back. We've got a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. Maybe I'll start, if you don't mind. Do you mind?
you're already
No,
talking.
I'm responding to a
Go
text.
ahead.
All right, so I have a new name. I am officially going to be known as Petty Betty.
Petty Betty.
So we all know that Google decided to play along with President Dump and his shenanigans in renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And I found out today that Apple followed suit. And I was a bit shocked that that actually happened. And so I immediately started looking for ways to sort of kind of start, trolling Apple and Google and all of these, individuals.
Wait, so your brand.
Yes. Don't.
My brand, Apple, jumped on board and renamed in the Apple Maps app the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And I was feeling some kind of way. I'm like, Tim Cook, what the fuck?
Mainly because you drive their stock.
Pretty much. So I said, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be very petty and I'm going to find a way to sort of kind of, voice my displeasure about the whole thing, because the Gulf of Mexico has been the Gulf of Mexico for eons. The name, the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico has existed before the United States of America was even a country. And so for, Dingleberry fucking, what did we call, what did that guy call him at the airport? The orange face shit gibbon?
Yeah.
It was a shit gibbon.
Shit gibbon something, yeah.
Or McDump.
Or McDump, whatever it is. Before, he comes out and spews his racist rhetoric and says, oh, we're going to name it the Gulf of America because you hate Mexico that much because they didn't pay for the wall. It's a thing now. And so now when you look at the Maps app, it says the Gulf of America. And so I started going into the Maps app from all of my devices and reporting an issue in the location, right? And saying that, stop, coddling this racist BS. It's the Gulf of Mexico and it's not the Gulf of America and your name is incorrect. And I would send it. And then I found out, and I also posted this on my Facebook, that you can do the same for Google. For Google, you can not only do it from your devices, but you can also go to like Google search and search the Gulf of America, and then right click on the three little dots that show up next to the name, the Gulf of America, and report an issue.
Yeah, you did it on my computer.
I did it on your computer once. I did it from mine 62 times already today. And I will continue to do that. And that's going to be my pastime to sort of kind of get me through the craziness. Mm-hmm. But it's like, what the fuck? You hate Mexico that much that you can't bear the fact that a simple international body of water is called the Gulf of Mexico? Is that a problem?
Yeah.
So, I'm Petty Betty now. So
speaking of Petty Betty, I think I have a better name for you.
What? Oh, God. I'm scared.
Pequeña Bettina.
What?
Pequeña?
Pequeña Bettina.
Patina?
Bettina. With a B.
I have to V. Pequeña. Oh, you were looking for Spanish versions of the name Betty.
Petty Betty.
Okay, so Pequeña Bettina.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. But I'll take it.
I mean, I like it. It's got more like
it's got some
gravitas behind it.
Yeah, it's got some girth.
Yeah.
So Pequeña Bettina.
Come for Pequeña Bettina.
Oh, I'm gonna go open a Facebook with that name, Pequeña Bettina. I'm gonna do that tonight. No, but seriously, I mean, it pisses me off because I mean, it goes to show you that this entire thing is driven by the fact that this body of water that has always been the Gulf of Mexico happens to carry the name Mexico at the end of it, right? And he hates Mexico so much that he had to be so petty to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Yeah, he hates everyone.
I think he does.
Except for Putin.
And so then, if it couldn't get any worse, are you okay over there?
There is a fly. I saw it.
Yeah, it's driving me insane.
Close your legs, girl.
It's not her legs that are open.
Ooh. So it's so bad that there was a congressman from Georgia, no less, from the home of a bitter fucking, Congresswoman Green, I believe it was Georgia, that actually put a bill, sponsored a bill on the floor to officially change the name and also request or start the process of acquiring Greenland. And they're going to name it Red, White, and Blue Land. I shit you not.
You can't. It's a sovereign nation.
You can't make this shit up.
Oh my God.
A representative of Congress put this bill on the floor.
Did we talk about Gaza last week?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We talked about the fact that,
it's a shit show.
It's a shit show that,
These people are fucking insane.
I said this on the show once, and you just looked at me like, oh my God, you just opened up a Pandora's box. And I think that, what we're doing in Gaza is committing genocide. And I said
I'm
this.
talking about him like wanting to take over the Gaza Strip.
So, yes, I understand that. Okay. But many, many, many months ago, when this whole war started, right, and the terrorists, let me first and foremost say, the terrorist attacks that occurred, perpetrated by the individuals from Gaza on the sovereign state of Israel and its people were atrocious. They were horrible. No human being should ever suffer or go through that. And no human being should ever be subjected to being, prisoners, or sequestered and held against their will. No one should ever be subjected to that, right? I stand by that. I believe that. I believe that Israel had a reason to do what it did to a certain extent. They should have gone after Hamas. The people that are Hamas, the Palestinian people, they're caught in the crossfire. And so when they went in there and they absolutely leveled Gaza and displaced all of these human beings, that is genocide. And I understood then that the whole purpose, the whole reason that Netanyahu wanted that so bad was because that is prime real estate. They want that. They want that beachfront property. They want that whole strip, and they wanted to annex it and make it a part of Israel. And Biden at the time was trying to avoid that. And here comes fucking Donald Trump and now makes an announcement that he has every intention of actually going and occupying a sovereign state. Because let's recognize Palestine exists and it has a right to exist. Its people have a right to exist. This is genocide. It's the textbook description of genocide. You went in, you leveled an entire sovereign state to the ground because a certain group of people, meaning Hamas, did something atrocious against one of our allies, and you provided them weapons to level an entire region and its people. And people suffered and people died as a result of that. And now you're saying you want to go in there and, oh, it's prime real estate and we're going to go and we're going to put boots on the ground and take it over and make it the best it's ever been. It is disgusting.
Yep.
But yes, we did talk about that.
America first, everyone.
Right. America first, but we're putting boots.
And money.
And money and American boots in a completely sovereign territory. But that's how we operate. But anyway, going back to the whole thing, if you want to be Pequeña Bettina or a Petty Betty like me, you can go to Google and you can Google the Gulf of America, right-click on it, and let Google know that the name is incorrect. And you can also do that on your Apple Maps app. And I went crazy posting today, as I usually do, on all of my social medias and tagging Apple and Tim Cook and all of these people. And like, how dare you? Like, Tim Cook, listen to me. If you ever get this message, which I highly doubt you will because, it's Tim Cook, you are a white cisgender gay man And a lot of the things that this administration is currently pushing go directly against the core of who you are as a human being.
He donated $1 million to his campaign.
Yes, he also did that. Wake the fuck up. That is my contribution to today's show. Go and be a Pequeña Bettina. A petty Betty.
See, that's just going to be so easy for you.
Yeah, it is. So again, I'm 61 reports in, 62 with yours. This is going to be my new pastime. I'm just going to sit there and just fucking troll Google and Apple all day long. And I can do that because it's fun for me.
Do what you can.
Oh, that's what I have. So, Trish, what do you have?
Oh, in lighter news.
Is there such a thing? Does it exist?
I am so excited to report, as we all know, that USAID has been defunded and their website has come down, affecting over 55 countries in which we support aid to, whether it's health workers, whether it's medicine. A lot of people living with HIV and AIDS, we have put in programs and supplied medicine, especially for those born with HIV and AIDS and have to live their lives with it from day one. It's going to affect a shit ton of people. In 2023, 630,000 people died from AIDS-related illnesses worldwide. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of those people were not in the United States. Because in the United States, we had programs in place, health insurance. It was easier for people to get the medicine they needed.
Right.
And that's what USAID was doing. They were providing these essential services to so many people around the world. And now all these services have come to a halting stop. Not to mention there are programs that USAID were funding. Some of them were research programs, medical research programs, which actually provided medical equipment, some of which I'll give you an example, say it's a pacemaker, right?
Right.
And now, because everything's been halted, all of these people that they were studying and trying to help, they no longer have anybody to check in with them.
Right.
Their medical progress, if anything goes wrong with these machines or, these aids. I saw somebody post something, family member, of course, saying how proud they were that USAID was defunded. And I have not commented on people's shit.
Right.
But I did. I went in. I did it. Because when you look at the bottom line, I understand that we are trillions of dollars in debt as a nation, and there has to be some financial reform. But that does not mean stripping funding from those who are in desperate need. And on top of that, when you look at the bottom line when it comes to USAID and when it comes to their budget, it is like a teensy-beensy-weensy percentage of the overall United States budget. Yes, maybe it'll help a little bit here and there, but cutting all of these programs, it's literally, I could in ways, because just for AIDS alone and what it's providing to people, this is another form of genocide.
Right.
It is.
USAID was put in place years ago for a couple different things. Because we are a world power, or like to think we are still. One, they were put in place to help our relations around the world with foreign countries.
Right.
Two, they were put in place because we have the resources, because we have the technology, and because we have the means to help those in need.
Right.
Those in third world countries, those in just general countries, also providing research grants to medical students here in the United States, which has all been cut off.
Right.
Like, they were put in place to help America's, I don't want to just say it like this, but help America's image around the world by actually doing something.
Right. Doing the work.
By doing something and
Doing substantial work.
and making the world a better place.
Right.
And the fact that you can just cut that funding.
Right.
And
by the way, that's in contention right now, and so there's a judge.
The website's still down, and all this funding is still not flowing, and all these people are still suffering.
You want to look at cutting funds. How about limiting senators and congressmen traveling across the world for meetings?
Right.
Why can't they fucking FaceTime? Why are we footing the bill for them to vacation with their families in other countries?
Yeah.
Why are set term limits? Set a cap on salaries.
Right.
Instead, these people retire with the same pay and a lifetime of medical care.
Right.
It's
right.
insane.
Which, by the way, the American people does not have access to. It's a form of universal health care in
that's
a sense.
Only afforded to them.
To them, to elected officials. But I will say this. So there is currently lawsuits that were filed by the attempt to defund this particular agency that you're talking about. And the reason being is because the funds that they're actually neglecting to give to these agencies are funds that were already appropriated in a previous Congress.
Correct.
Right, but that doesn't matter if they're frozen, because there's plenty of stuff that's been appropriated.
Right. Well, that's what they're saying. It's illegal, right? That you can't take funds that were already appropriated by a Congress.
Well, to be fair, the whole concept is illegal because Trump does not. The Congress and the Senate hold the purse strings. That is how it's supposed to be.
The House holds the purse. They control the money, right? And so these funds were appropriated already. And so there's going to be lawsuits, and we will see that there are going to be judges that will actually put a halt, as we've seen in some other decisions, to not allow them to do that, right? And so, for example, Elon Musk attempt to take over certain agencies and have access to certain information for taxpayers or people's information has already been stayed by a couple of courts nationwide, which, by the way, a senator and a congressperson already actually submitted articles of impeachment against the judge that gave that ruling because of that. So these funds were already appropriated. They were already budgeted for. They have to be spent.
Right. And while I do agree with you, yes, you're right. We have seen, this is unprecedented times. We have seen some crazy shit.
All of it.
And whether or not there are lawsuits, there needs to be executive action underneath the president of the United States, because all these fucking people are suffering. And I'm not talking like suffering just like, I live in a third world country, I'm hungry, which is terrible, but they literally could die because they are battling diseases.
Right.
That we were helping them with.
But not to mention that, not only is this particular agency affected, they're actually looking at still, how many years has it been since the Affordable Care Act has been enacted? It's going to be close to like 15 years at this point, right? Obama successfully did that I believe in the first year of his second term that they passed Obamacare. Or they passed the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare.
March 23, 2010.
Look at that. And we're in 2025, so 15 years. And so when you think about all of the protections that consumers and individuals and citizens got in this nation as a result of the Affordable Care Act, especially surrounding pre-existing conditions, guess what? HIV is a pre-existing condition. So all of those funds that have been appropriated for programs like PrEP, right, and all of these other are also potentially on the chopping block if these individuals, which, by the way, Congress, the president has an entire Congress at his disposal. Both houses in Congress, the Senate and the House, are Republican controlled. And if they decide they want to throw legislation on the floor and get it successfully passed to overturn the Affordable Care Act, he will sign it into law. and we are potentially losing our protections from pre-existing conditions for health insurance companies being able to say, no, we're not going to cover that because that's a pre-existing condition. It's one of the pivotal things that the Affordable Care Act really changed when it was enacted. And we're living in very, very crazy, uncertain times in the U.S., and it baffles me because, you know, half of the developed world, and when you think about the European Union and when you think about other countries, have universal health care. And here we are trying to just get through this madness and this craziness for the next 4 years.
It's insane. And I mean, talking about, you know, pre-existing conditions or illnesses,
Right.
you know, what does that mean? Not only HIV care, but cancer treatment,
Right.
diabetes, you know, ongoing treatments that people are dealing with.
Right.
You know, how are insurance companies going to try and ride those coattails? And again, you got to look at this, you know, from a financial standpoint. This is a millionaire that's in office.
Well, it's actually not him.
Yes, but
It's President Musk. Yeah, it's President
yeah.
Musk.
But if you look at it, it's a millionaire in office that's changing laws that are only going to benefit that 1%er. It's
Right.
only going to benefit them. It's going to make things worse for
Right.
everyone below that.
Right.
If you're not in that, you know, 8-figure, because I ain't even going to say 6-figure. If you're not doing 8 figures or bigger, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's not
and-
you. We're not about you.
Yeah,
We're not about what you
absolutely.
have.
Absolutely.
You know,
And
it's like I said, everything is going to poop. Everything is going to shit.
Well,
Yep.
it's going to be interesting because Jay makes a really good point. When you look at statistics, there is an article that I read. I think it came out May 2024. When you look at statistics of ACA signups, where do you think the most of them are?
In Republican states.
In red states.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. And these are states that, by the way, took the longest to actually bring in the portal
Yeah.
that was needed to actually register for the Affordable Care Act, right? And have people be able to actually go on this market and be able to find affordable health care, which, by the way, on average, got anywhere between 15 and 20 million Americans insured.
So it's going to be interesting when, if and when something happens with that, how his constituents will
Yeah.
respond.
They're going to immediately feel it the most. And it's, you know, to me, I'm just baffled. I'm baffled at the idea that, you know, this is where we are.
I know. It's insane.
We didn't learn our lesson the first 4 years of this madness. And
these motherfuckers are crazy.
FAFO, they're all learning the hard way.
right.
There was
Then I tell you, we're just gonna sit back and watch this shit unfold because
Well, not only are we going to watch this shit unfold, but we also have to be vigilant and make sure that we activate when needed, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Because the one thing that scares them the most is when the American public gets very vocal about things. And you've seen this. You've seen evidence of this on several occasions already. For example, when he actually signed a couple of executive orders that then he had to track back.
Yep.
The issue with, for example, the tariffs with Canada
Yeah.
and Mexico.
but they just went into effect.
So he had to, they put a 30-day hold on them because
When
they had put a 30-day hold on them when they were first enacted.
they went into effect, I believe on Monday, 25% on Canada for steel and something else.
Yeah.
Right. But the
So
thing was,
basically,
initially when they were
yeah.
announced, the people had an uproar because they realized it was going to affect specifically Republicans and Republican states, that it was going to affect businesses and
Well, they're all getting hammered now because
yeah.
I think you are correct. Like some of those went into effect, and it is affecting the steel unions, the steel workers union,
Right.
Well, that's because they're
and they were some of the biggest supporters of the Trump
It's
campaign.
all going to shit.
And it's
I'm sad to say it, but I'm proud of how foreign nations are responding, saying, okay,
Oh,
Yeah.
Standing up, because there's this concept of, oh, you can't stand up to America, but you have Canada saying, all right, you're going to do that to us. Well, we're going to do it right back,
Yeah.
and it's going to affect you just as bad.
It's insane. It's
So,
insane. We're getting hammered.
I wanted to. Interesting that you say that. So Mexico has a new president, right? And she is fierce. By the way, it's a she.
Yes.
It's a female.
Bettina?
She's Pequeña Bettina. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Hold on. I'm trying to find oh God. Please tell me. Mexico. So in in a response, she ended up saying to President Trump in a tweet, she ended up saying something to the effect of, I can't find the tweet right now to read verbatim what she said, but she goes like, hey, listen, you want to put tariffs on this? That's fine. We can ban all American iPhones. We'll go and buy Japanese and Chinese phones and do that instead. We can stop buying and allowing the imports of American cars, which are, by the way, very popular in Mexico. And we will then go and buy European models. And then she goes in parentheses and says, which are far better, by the way. Oh, she was petty, and I loved every minute of it. And she just went down the list of all the things that there were about 12 between 12 and 15 things that she noted. She goes like, we can do business with someone else.
Yeah, Claudia Sheinbaum is the president of Mexico.
Let me
Claudia
tell you.
Sheinbaum, she's insane.
Yeah, she posted on X, and she goes like, I've instructed my economy minister to implement Plan B we've been working on, which includes tariffs and non-tariff measures in defense of Mexico's interest, said Sheinbaum. Posted without specifying the U.S. goods her government will target. For decades, the two neighbors have been cross-border trade. They have seen cross-border trade grow, including from highly integrated auto industry, as well as massive volumes of crude oil, natural gas, and motor fuels that move in both directions. And she was like, I'm happy to do it. So if you want to play, let's play. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Seeing the amount of people that are actually pushing back it will hurt us in the long run. But you know what? As they always say, stay humble. And sometimes people need to be humbled. They really do. They need to be humbled like Drake was humbled at the Super Bowl this past weekend. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah,
But yeah, no,
that's
it's
a whole other shit show.
yeah, it's everything's going to poop, and you know what? We're gonna suffer for it for the time being. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Robert Garcia, a member of Congress, who went on one of the committee meetings and showed a dick pic of Elon Musk. That was the dick pic. It was a picture of him. So in a sense, he's calling him a dick. That was it. And this was actually in response to something that Marjorie Taylor Greene did during the last congressional session, and where she actually showed a dick pic of Biden's son.
Yeah, well, you know.
Wasn't a bad penis.
Two things before we wrap up.
Yes.
Well, I must say one thing. That is one ugly dick pic.
Oof,
Yeah,
yes, it is. Let me tell you, that's one dick I will not be putting in my mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm not a stock market person, really, but I would just urge people, like, you know, tariffs went in place. Oh, we're gonna migrate from America. Just keep an eye on the stock market.
Yeah.
Because shit's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Dow's down today, 500 index, NASDAQ, everything. It's just looking like shit. But the last thing I don't know if I want to bring this up. Whatever, I'm going to say it. So I don't know if you guys heard about the National Arts Endowment Fund.
Well, we know it's been affected.
So the National Arts Endowment is a federal funded endowment that funds many arts institutions around the nation, programs, general operating, like big money. And the arts innately leans into what I would consider natural DEI. Like innately is made to host conversations and experiences
And creativity in all walks of life.
It does it in a way because it's the best way to tell stories and learn about other people's experiences.
Right.
So innately, the arts is DEI.
It was the blueprint, and it always has been the blueprint for DEI.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can call us liberal artists, whatever the fuck you want to call us. But at the same time, you're going to take the National Arts Endowment and say you can't apply for grants if you are applying for any DEI programs, have a DEI policy, and are like in any way catering to low to moderate income. And in a way, I read an article where they literally listed low to moderate income Black people, Jewish people, like just also they're whatever. But all I'm saying is it's fucking nuts. And I'm like, okay, so there's this massive endowment that's supposed to be funding the arts. That's a huge economic driver for the country
And for the communities in which that receive these grants.
who innately, as an institution, just being what they are DEI, and now you're saying we can't have any of those funds.
Right.
When they've been relying on those funds for years.
Put on a Nazi show, I guarantee you're going to get approved 100%.
But this is another thing. This is something that they fucking did in Nazi Germany. They took control of the arts.
Yeah.
Right.
What they could show, what art, literal art was allowed to be shown.
Right.
What books, what was on the stage, and then he takes over the fucking Kennedy Center and ousts the board chair.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you guys got to pay a fucking attention.
Oh, drag queens are having a field day with that because, you know, the Kennedy Center has a lot of queer, events that occur in the space.
Well, yeah, a lot of arts works do, yeah.
And that is all in jeopardy right now.
Oh,
but what I wanted to say earlier when we were having the conversation about Nazi Germany and stuff like it's like we have this playbook exists. It has already happened in history. Right. And
they wrote a new one based off the old one.
Yeah. And they're just basically regurgitating the same exact playbook. And if people are not paying attention, there is a possibility that we're going to end up there.
I'm probably going to get another phone call from a Trumper saying, does this NEA like DEI thing affect you and your job? No. No.
Yeah.
National Endowment for the Arts, you asshole.
Yeah, no, it's not hyperbole when we say this is exactly what they're trying to do. You know, did I use the word correctly?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And I think staying within the arts and entertainment, kudos to Nashville.
What did Nashville do?
So apparently Kid Rock
Oh, I saw
I
this.
did not see this.
he storms off stage.
I
So
saw this
he
video.
attended a birthday bash for Bon Jovi's keyboardist.
Yeah.
And he was performing and attempting to get the crowd to clap along with him,
And they weren't clapping.
and they weren't clapping.
And he got pissed
And
off.
he got
said,
pissed and cursed them all.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and walked off stage.
You're not going to clap? I'm
I'm
leaving.
leaving.
And he just walks up the stairs.
and leaves.
And people were like, bye, Felicia.
And as he left, people started clapping. So
Yeah. It's,
kudos to Nashville.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah,
it
I
is
feel
what it is.
I feel sorry, for the guy.
I don't.
No,
fuck him.
No, I mean I feel sorry. Let me rephrase that. I feel sorry for his career. He had a career at one point in time.
Why?
Just like, for example, Carrie Underwood. It's like
She made a choice.
she chose to perform and choose to be okay with performing and using her platform to elevate. Donald Dump, and you make your bed, now you have to lay in it.
Don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but yeah.
Because either way, they're gonna
No,
remain
but
rich.
here's the thing. There's a saying, and I hold this dear, even though I'm Petty Betty, or Pequeña Bettina.
Okay, where are we going with this,
All I'm gonna say is just like, listen,
Linda?
it's not that I don't want you to eat, just not eating at my table. So yeah, I feel sorry.
I don't.
So.
But I mean, that's very compassionate of you.
In today's day and age, we have to try to be.
I would say we have to be.
Somewhat compassionate for the less fortunate at sometimes.
I think that there's a level of like compassion, right? Of course, for one another, understanding and tolerance for one another.
Right.
But when it comes to what's going on in the world, you choosing a side,
Choosing that side.
that side, right? And having a lot of followers that have chosen the other side. Yes, there's a world in which we need to work on bringing one another back together, but we can't do that until some of these individuals who have bought into this stuff wake the fuck up.
Right. And it was, so, the Super Bowl happened this past week, and I did not watch the Super Bowl, but I've seen a lot of videos.
Yep.
There was a lot of,
The halftime show was really good.
It was good, yeah.
If
Kendrick
you
Lamar-
caught it from the get-go.
right.
And a lot of people, I've heard from a lot of people that watched it, Super Bowl halftime show was shit.
White
Well,
America
you weren't
is mad.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention to the message.
Mm-hmm.
The message was there and clear. He very undertoned, but very well spoken.
Yeah, and you saw that Trump left after that, or I think halfway through that halftime show.
Yeah.
And literally, when he was walking out, MAGA, from whatever I saw, it was a video, but it said that MAGA people were screaming at him, and you could hear the video. In the video, you see him walking out, and they're all yelling "traitor."
yeah.
They booed him. Well, in all fairness, they also booed Taylor Swift
Yeah.
when they showed her on the Megatron. But you're
But
right.
she's like,
White America is upset because Kendrick Lamar had an all-black ensemble on stage doing a rap concert in the middle of a football game. And you're right. The message was there. And if you didn't get it...
also, fuck off. Like, more than half the players on that field were black and of color. Like,
Right.
You wanted to do away with DEI, and now that somebody's taking advantage of that, doing away with, now you have an issue with it because there were no white participants.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, I like you when it's convenient for me.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, but it's like, so there was a lot of like white commentators and a lot of like, people that are very prominent in the media world making comments like, I didn't see not one white, but you want to talk about DEI? I didn't see not one white dancer behind him. They were all black.
It's called the fucking statement, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, thank you. The point is a statement,
And also, DEI is not about black people or brown people. It is about inclusivity of everyone. And yes, the movement came from the repression of people of color.
Right.
It came from the fucking repression of people of color.
I love the fact that they used Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam.
Oh my god, that was great.
God.
That was good.
There was a lot of subliminal messages.
Yeah, the undertones were insane.
It was absolute gold. I don't listen to rap music, but I appreciated the fact that he went up there and did what he needed to do to ensure that the message was sent. And you know what? Why not do it in one of the biggest platforms that you can be given and elevate such the disparity in with people of color and the situation and what we find ourselves
I
in.
think the
today.
halftime show, was considered one of the most watched halftime shows in history. I think the only one that hasn't been topped off was Michael Jackson's.
Right.
And I think he was this much off.
Yeah.
Right.
He was short by like maybe 400 people.
Well, there
To
is
surpass
a
him.
controversy that
Yeah.
has driven
Yeah,
or
yeah.
that drove that that particular viewership and so many people tuning in. There is an issue. There is a lawsuit. There is a war between Drake
Yep.
and Kendrick
Kendrick
Lamar,
Lamar.
that's currently happening. It's been very prominent. You know, there's lawsuits, allegations where Drake, who has ties to Diddy,
Did he?
who has been arrested, as we know, and charged and
Countless
on countless allegations of like molestation and
Poor
raping
baby.
and
Minors and a
and
whole lot.
minors. And so when Kendrick Lamar took the stage and said, "Drake, I know you like them young," and then stared at the camera and smiled,
Yeah.
I was gagged.
Well,
I
yeah.
was gagged.
And Serena dancing, doing the crip walk.
Which, by the way, Serena and Drake had a relationship
They
at one point in
dated for a
time,
while.
right? And so for her to come up and do that winning dance, because she did that same dance, like
Well, they call it the crip walk, but yeah,
Like-
during her games, yeah.
during her game, she had won one. I think I specifically something happened in 2015 where she won and she actually did that dance.
Yep.
And for her to be the ex of Drake and have him address Drake directly in a song,
I think
Right.
in an interview, she said it was the best 10 seconds of her life.
her
With
life.
Drake.
no, her
No,
dancing
the
on
dancing.
stage.
Or I mean,
There was a lot of
No, I know.
controversy.
I was trying to make a funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know.
Didn't land, I guess. Maybe a little bit.
With Drake. Yeah, 10 minutes. You know, so it was interesting to see how this has all played out and seeing white America be bothered.
I
by
would
all
have
of
loved to
this.
have been in the room when what Kendrick was like, they want to do this? He's doing this? How am I going to change the show?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he had the whole thing fucking planned.
Of
and then he's
course.
like, all right, get out the Rolodex. Like,
Oh, honey, the moment he knew because I mean, you know, you have to understand this man still has issues in litigation. And so there's a lot of things that he did or that he could not do because of the fact that there's an active litigation in regards to the allegations that were made from the Drake side in regards to defamation, right? By not Kendrick Lamar, but by the people that are promoting his music. The people that are actually publishing his music. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. And the fact that he went on stage and just did it and killed it, and I was just like, yes, thank you. So no, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I took time to go and appreciate the message that was delivered during the halftime show. You know, you have to understand people's blight and their fight and why they do the things that they do, and especially when you're someone of color or someone that belongs to a minority group that we are currently being attacked
yeah.
all over, you know, even in blue states.
Yeah.
So there's that. Anyway, I think this was a fantastic show. What do you think?
It was fantastical. I mean, fantastic.
Testicles? Is there anything you need to share with us before we close, Trish?
I want you to shush the fuck up.
I feel attacked.
So here's one quick funny. You know me, I'm always watching videos and
Yeah,
stuff.
you just sent us
know?
one.
Yeah,
You just set one?
yeah. Tax returns, $1,200. Me at the restaurant. Put 4 eggs in my omelet.
With a side of poop, because it's all going to poop.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gents, thank you. We are going to go ahead and start wrapping up our show. So, Trish, I'm going to throw it over to you because you know. Oh, wait. Before we go, I do have to say welcome, Jim. Thank you for becoming a new Patreon. Awesome.
Gracias,
And,
Jimmy.
Muchas gracias. And
I should say Jim.
and welcome to the madness and the craziness of our show. I hope you enjoy the
Welcome
videos.
to the shit show.
Trisha?
Thank you. All right, everybody. Here's Mama Kim's Minute. Number 1, Pete Buttigieg and Dana Nessel lead in early Senate primary poll. Number 2, museum slaps mature content warning on exhibit featuring painting of 2 cowboys kissing. Number 3, lesbian cop faced years of degrading harassment. She just won a huge settlement.
Brokeback Mountain, anyone?
I know, it's like one of my favorites.
That's what I immediately went to. That scene, though. I felt that in my soul. Jaybird.
Alrighty, on this day in gay history, brought to you by us. By us.
Just us.
Yeah.
I remember a time when we used to say unicornbooty.com.
I
I missed
know.
that.
Alrighty then.
Is that still a thing?
The date, February 12th, the year 2004. In San Francisco, California. Sorry, my glasses are foggy today. Hold on. What happened?
not the
Let's see.
glasses.
City officials began issuing marriage licenses to homosexual couples and performed the first known civil marriage as a homosexual couple. Homosexual couple. Why?
Of a homosexual
Of
couple.
a homosexual couple.
Are you okay, Jay?
No. In the U.S. by marrying activists Del Martin and Phyllis Lyon. Over 80 couples received quick ceremonies. Alrighty.
Yeah. I thought that was a good one to do today. I've had conversations with several people that are engaged in our community that are shotgunning it right now. So,
Yeah, no,
in preparations for the shits to come.
Right.
Yeah, gotcha. Alrighty then. So I guess we're moving on to our announcements.
Go for it.
All right, let's see if I can get this without fucking it up today. If you love the show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite. I fucked that up already. On your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as the episode is published.
I'm going to rewrite that in Spanish for you so
See.
that you can just go for it.
Ay, Dios mío. Then you're really going to be fucked up.
yeah.
You can also support us on Patreon, like Jim.
Like Jim. Thank you,
Yes. With Patreon, you, our listeners, can help to support the show with a pledged donation. The donations are collected monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more.
Jim. Yes, Queen.
You know, and I will say, Jay, just for our listeners and to support you in general, once you trip once, it's like a downhill roll.
It's a domino
Yeah, you
effect.
get that immediate panic in your brain.
And you're like, it's just gonna be like that. But okay, I'll try
It's
it
like
again.
when we used to sing the alphabet. Melamalopi.
Melaminopi. Do it in Spanish.
All right, everybody. Don't forget to get the Future Method and all other products today. All products are doctor developed, can clean out without hurting your bum. Take confidence anywhere with the anal powder packs. Increase your stretch goals with the 3-piece anal glass dilation kit. And get all the information you need with Dr. G's book, But Seriously. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum accessory today. Probably.
I was actually going to say the same. We need to schedule them back in.
I
have
muted
to,
the mics
do
for that,
my
by the way.
job,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
haven't done it because somebody hasn't paid me.
Yeah, well, you
Oh,
know,
but she's nasty.
We
Websites are expensive.
we need Dr. G back on the G spot.
Sore
Come on.
eggs.
Jaybird, go for it.
Alrighty, where the hell are we? Oh, it's time to put a ring on it. All right,
Why do we
Robert.
put a ring on it?
Cock
Because
ring.
he always has a ring on.
Oh,
Put a cock ring on
what
it.
about the cock cage? That torture
Cage,
device you showed us
the
one day.
chastity device.
We'll put a cock
Those
cage
are
on
plays. Yeah, I mean, Chris.
I don't need a cock cage.
you. I'm just protecting your neighbors.
She needs an anal cage, not a cock cage. Because this one at her windows.
I need a mouth guard.
I'm off guard. Alrighty then. Our show is available on our website, gaytalk20.com, under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, and Stitcher Radio.
All right, you can find us on social media, Facebook, GayTalk 2.0, Instagram, GayTalk 2.0. You can email us at gaytalk2.0 at gaytalk20.com. Tom, it's your turn.
I'm going to try. If you need to reach out to us, just head on over to our website. Click on the Contact Us tab, which is located at the top of your web browser. There you can leave comments, suggest topics. You can submit a question for the cast or any of these two bitches. You can also give us a call and leave us a voicemail with any questions you may have that we can answer for you here on the show. show. Our phone number is 334-GayTalk. And if you need all of those digits, it is 334-429-8255. Don't forget, we are streaming live for our Patreon supporters on the day of recording. Everyone else gets to see it the week after, but you can always access the free podcast, as Jay mentioned before, for free, the audio podcast on your favorite podcasting service. I want to thank you all for joining us on tonight's episode. Ladies and gents, that is our show. Thank you, and y'all have a good night. Bye!
Thank you for listening to this episode of Gay Talk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.